Hello everyone. As a language teacher, you always have to be working with audio recordings for your listening exercises. But sometimes you're given files from a book or you find recordings online and you say, wow, the, the audio is has a very low volume, it has some noise in the background, it is too fast, it's too slow, or it comes in two parts and I would like to have just one track to play it on my cell phone, my tablet. So with Audacity, you can do this and much more. So I'm going to show you how you can uh, edit some of these features in different audio recordings. So you need to open Audacity, I already did, and then you need to open a file. Okay, I'm gonna try. I just have a few sample MP3 files here. So I'm gonna try the first one. First, we need to identify what could be the problem.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by working with pitch humming. This advice comes from Tamra Jones.
Okay, I think the problem is obvious. This is too slow, it's unnatural. So I can change it. So you need to highlight it. You're gonna highlight or double click. When you double click, all of the background turns white. And you need to go to Effect and need to go to Speed Change. Let's identify the option here, Speed Change. Okay, now we have this fader. Left is low and right is fast. And here we need to deal with a little trial and error until we find the best formula. So you have a preview.
English learners can improve.
Okay. So I'm going to increase the speed. This is going to have a side effect because the pitch of the recording will also become higher. So the sound is going to be weird for a while.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by working.
Okay, still not that fast. A little higher though.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by...
Okay, let's pretend the speed, the rate of delivery is more natural now. So click on accept and you will see that the track will shrink because it's faster now.
English learners can improve their pronunciation.
Yeah, but I could not use this in a classroom because the sound is ridiculous. So I need to correct the problem. So go to Effect and go to Pitch Change. Then right is high, left is low. So you can preview.
English learners can improve.
Okay. Let's try lower.
English learners can improve their...
Still not his real pitch.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by working with pitch.
Still probably lower than his natural tone of voice.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by working with pitch humming.
Okay, now it sounds more natural. So click on accept. Let's try.
English learners can improve their pronunciation by working with pitch humming. This advice comes from Tamra.
Okay, so compared with the previous version, now this recording sounds way more natural. But we need to be careful with these effects because we cannot go too far. For example, although this person is speaking slowly, sometimes there are parts in which this person may be using contractions. So if you speed up a contraction, it's going to sound distorted. Also, if you need to make sure that there's no music in any of the parts of the recording, because if you edit the music, and it's going to be a mess. So just
False
explore
are
the
grammatically
recording.
identical. Tamara Jones explains.
Because my pitch change is coming on the word coffee, I'm
See.
meaning that probably
That part is a real speaker speaking fast, and because of this
False are
pitch
grammatically
change.
identical. Tamara Jones explains.
because my pitch change is coming on the word coffee,
Okay, now it sounds super unnatural. So you need to make sure you identify the different portions of the recordings. You can use the zoom button, and you can edit in different portions. Instead of highlighting all of the recording, you could edit part by part to make sure you're not creating an unwanted effect in the recording. Once you're satisfied with the final product, you go to export as MP3, WAV, or any other file that you're interested in. Okay, let's try another audio file. Okay, first let's identify the problem.
Touchstone, Student's Book, Level 2.
Okay, the volume is very low, and we have an introduction first, highlight, effect, and first we can try normalize. Normalize is a standard format. Accept. Okay, the volume is higher now.
Touchstone, Student's Book, Level 2.
If you were not satisfied, you can also try amplify. Let's try amplify, just a little louder.
Touchstone.
Okay, so now we know this is a musical introduction of the track, and let's remind I found this, but this is not the book I'm using, and I don't want my students to know where this comes from, and probably these are the instructions for the activity.
Self-study listening. Unit 1.
And let's pretend I want to use this in a quiz. So none of these parts is necessary. So I'm going to highlight them, go to edit, and cut. Okay, now I have a problem because this is just part one of the conversation, and I would like to have both parts together. So you can go to File, Import Audio, then part two. Right now I'm going to mute the first track because otherwise both of them would play at the same time. So mute, see it turns gray. Double click, effect, normalize. In case you're not satisfied with the volume, you can try amplify as an extra.
Self-study listening. Unit 1. B.
Okay, that's the introduction. I can highlight it, edit, cut.
So, your brother's in Miami.
Okay, but if I leave this like this, both these files will play at the same time, and it's going to be a mess.
So, your brother's in Miami 305? Who's your brother?
So I need to move the second track to the right. So I'm going to use this button, double arrow, and I'm going to place it maybe here, and I need the select tool now. Place a cursor here and see if there's a smooth transition between the two tracks.
My name's Chris.
Nice to meet you. I'm Eve.
So, your brother's in Miami 305?
Okay, the transition seems to be natural. So if I'm satisfied with this, I'm going to File, Export, MP3, and save. The two tracks will be mixed. I can modify the information here. If not, just click on Accept. And now you have just one track out of two that you just edited. Okay, now let's try another audio recording. Okay, let's see what happens with this.
Unit 3. Listening task. Page 15.
It's gonna be a great party Saturday night, huh, Julie?
Okay, see, one thing, we only see one track. This means it's mono, not stereo. This actually comes from an old cassette tape. So the problem here is that there's noise in the background. So I'm going to make it bigger, and I need to remove the noise. So you just select a portion of silence, go to Effect, and Noise Reduction, obtain Noise Profile. I'm going to make it smaller again, double click, Effect, Noise Reduction, and now we eliminated the problematic frequencies.
Unit 3. Listening task. Page 15.
It's gonna be a great party Saturday night, huh, Julie?
Probably that the change is not that noticeable here because I'm using my computer's speakers, but if you try with a pair of headphones, you will be able to tell the difference. Now let's try our last file. Okay, let's identify the possible problem.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big change which has gotten some folks pretty stressed out. For those of you out there who pay attention to astrology, NASA has some knowledge to drop.
Okay, probably this could be too fast for my beginner students, but I still want to use this recording because the content is good. So I need to make it slower. So you can highlight or double click, go to Effect, Speed Change. Remember, right is fast, left is low. So I'm going to make it slower. And remember, this has a side effect. So slow will also make the sound of the voice lower. Let's preview.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big
Still fast. Let's make it slower.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big change which has got.
Okay, let's pretend that's an appropriate speed for my students. I'm going to click on Accept. In this case, the track will become longer because we're making it slower, but I need to correct the problem of the low voice.
NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big change which is.
Okay, so double click to highlight, Effect, Pitch Change. Okay, remember, left is low, right is high, so I need to go right. Preview.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote.
No significant change. Let's try.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog.
Still, it doesn't sound like her.
Earlier this year,
Now I went too far.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big.
Okay, this sounds like her. Remember, there's a bit of trial and error, so click on Accept. Let's give it a try.
Earlier this year, NASA wrote a little blog post that noted a big change which has gotten some folks pretty stressed out.
And remember, we need to be careful because if there's music or if there's a speaker that has a different rate of delivery and I highlight all of the track, I will be changing the speed in all the portions of the track. So you can try and examine different portions of the recording. And you could also edit just part by part to make sure you're not distorting important parts of the audio. So I hope this simple tutorial helps you to edit your own recordings as a language teacher.